Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well today. In this bass lesson, I'm going to show you 6 things that you can practice if you don't really have much time at all and you want to pick up your bass and play something. Now, hopefully a 5-minute session turns into 30 minutes, but really it's all about consistency. It's about building a lifelong habit of practice. Let's dive into the first thing. The first thing is to play a bass line that you already know. I'm going to play you something now that I've been working on. This is always going to be changing, but for me right now, I've just been looking into the Aeroplane bass solo by Chili Peppers, played by Flea. It goes like this. Okay, now I've been playing that solo for a long time, but it's dropped off the radar for a while and I wanted to pick it up again. So when I'm playing that, I'll pick up my bass and I'll try and play it exactly as is, but I'll just give you a demonstration of what I'm personally looking for when I'm practicing. So I want to play it properly. I want to get the note, like there's a bit he goes. The notes are very, very short and they're punchy. It takes a lot of practice just to get your finger off the timing really well for that. I'm also looking into what Flea is doing, the note choices. So as I'm playing through, I might just pick up a few things. So the very first bit. I'm quickly analysing it. Now this is in the key of G minor. This is a G minor pentatonic scale. That, the 5th fret of the D string, is the G, that's the root. That's a B flat to a B. It's a very soul, old school R&B Motown thing. That's what Flea is drawing on for this. And that's just a minor third to a major third. And I've done lessons on this before. I recognize that pattern. And it helps me to memorize the song, the bass line, the solo, and it also helps me to, it helps my ear recognize that sound. So this is something I'm practicing. Otherwise, it's just all minor pentatonic. Now very quickly, after that solo, there's a bit that goes like this. Okay, it's a 2-5. I'm analysing this. It's G minor 7 to C dominant 7th, a very common chord progression, but Flea is playing an Aeolian scale over that. And using lots of chromatic notes in this sort of a walking jazz bass line type thing. So I'm getting a lot from that again. And as I said, for you it's going to be different, and week by week it'll be different as you are getting more songs into your repertoire. But this is a great thing to do. Just play a bass line you already know. And like I say, if you've got 5 minutes, then just play it for 5 minutes. But hopefully this 5 minutes is just going to sneakily turn into 15, into 30 as you enjoy it, as you get into things a bit more. So we played a bass line that we already know. The next thing is just to sit down and figure out a bass line, preferably by ear, or a chord progression that you don't know. And this is a moving target as well. This is going to be changing depending on what gig you have, you know, what your interests are at the moment. Now, I don't really play any jazz at all, but for me, I really wanted to learn Spain by Chick Corea. I was just seeing it on YouTube a lot and I fancied a go. This bit. You know that bit? And that has actually taken me quite a long time to get that together. It was a lot of 5 to 10 minute practice sessions every single day. And the first time I played it, because the fingering is quite awkward for this particular melody. And I was just, I've been playing for years and I was thinking, am I going to be able to play this? The answer is yes, if I commit to the practice. So it doesn't matter that I'm not playing this in a gig. It doesn't matter that I don't technically need to know this. I do need to know it just for my own enjoyment, really. So I just sat down and I figured it out and I just pieced it together. I might have just taken that section on its own and just gone round and round and round and round that. The thing is, if you do 5 minutes every day, it builds the habit of practice. And that's the idea, really. By the way, this is a follow-up to another lesson I did with 10 ideas. I'll put a link right here to that one if you want to check that out. Next up, work on an impossible technique you're never going to use. Now, what do I mean by this? If you watch footballers or soccer players, for my American friends, if you watch them practicing, very often in the warm-up, they'll be doing crazy tricks that they'll never ever use in a game. And musicians do this too. If you go way beyond your comfort zone and practice things that are just really, really difficult, when you go back to the normal stuff you play, the normal stuff becomes easy because you've stretched yourself so much. So here's something that I always try to get this thing together because I really can't do it. And it's really influenced by players like Abe Laboriel and Victor Wooten, who do all these crazy techniques. This is something I do a lot. Right, so I never used that in a gig, but you know, I might need that one day and I might want to incorporate it in some of my playing. I'll just break down what I'm doing there because it's quite fun. So I'm playing a C and a D, 5th fret to 7th fret of the G string, and I'm getting my thumb and my first finger together like I'm holding a plectrum, but I'm not. It's a bit like the Bernard Edwards chucking technique. And what I'm doing is this. I'm doing a hammer-on with a downstroke. A downstroke is where you just do that. And I'm striking the string on the fingernail. So hammer on, and then on the upstroke with the fleshy part of the fingertip, I'm catching that upstroke there. And then I'm doing the reverse. So this third finger is staying down when you've hammered it down, keep it down, and now we do a pull off, and the downstroke gets that. The entire rhythm, those 2 3s put together, is a 16th note triplet whereby 6 notes fly past in the space of 1 beat. That's a rhythm that you hear lots in very impressive bass playing. Victor Wooten uses it all the time. But here, I'm working on coordination, accuracy. I can only play that if my coordination is on point and if I'm relaxed. If I'm not relaxed, it will all go wrong. And it's also hard to play slow. And then maybe you might move it around. I can feel when I'm in the groove with that, and when I'm not. You could tell I was grimacing there because it wasn't quite there. But then when I go back to something easier, it does feel very much easier than that. Okay, play along to your favourite song is the next tip. If you've got 5 minutes, many songs are 5 minutes or under. Now, I can't really demo this because I've already got one copyright strike on this channel. I don't want another one. But just, I've got a setup where I've got headphones. I can put my bass through. You know, you can get aux cables out of an amplifier, whereby you can play something in and then you can play bass over it. Now, there's an app called Moises where you can get a song, you remove the bass from it, and then you really are the bass player playing along to that. That's a fantastic thing to do, perhaps the best thing to do. You're learning a song, you're learning how to play through a whole song, working on your stamina. One thing I love to keep on top of and practice all the time is chord scale relationships. Every single scale or mode has a chord that you can build from it. Let's demo something really simple. Key of D, a 1 to 4. Here's a D major 7 chord, where a D major scale or an Ionian, D-Ionian mode fits over it. Then you go to the 4, G major 7. This is a Lydian mode that fits over this. So you can go. You can go through an entire major scale or melodic minor scale or harmonic minor scale. Every single mode has the chord that fits over it. Now let's just link back to Spain. There's a solo section in Spain where there are all these kind of really cool chords that are quite exotic sounding, quite Spanish sounding. And I'm going to run through it now, and I'll put up on the screen the mode and the chord that we've got. So I'm just playing the chord, playing the scale up and down, sometimes going from the lowest note to the highest note, sometimes highest to lowest, and sometimes just improvising. Now this is great for learning the chord progression of whatever song it is. This is quite a complicated one. You can make it as easy as you like. And it's good for playing solos over the top, but also the bass line as well. You could just separate those notes out a bit. You know, you can play bass lines as well. This is a really, really incredibly important concept, chord-scale relationships, and I practice that all the time. That's one where it probably will, once you get your head around it, and I've got another video here that will help you, it will lead a little bit more into you wanting to keep hold of your bass and play a bit longer. Okay, last one for now is to practice a technique that you perhaps don't play all the time. Could be anything, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slap technique, but I'm going to demo plectrum. So I've got my plectrum here. I'm holding it between my thumb and first finger. I don't always play with a plectrum. This is a Dunlop 0.73. I like those ones. Bobby Vega loves playing with one of these, and I might emulate his style. If you don't know Bobby Vega, please check out everything he's ever played. Really brilliant. So, you know, there's kind of two broad plectrum styles I love. One is just rock. Actually, I'll start with rock. It's a bit easier. I'm doing down strokes there, and I'm improvising here. I'm using E minor pentatonic, but I also want to work on the technique. So I'm going to introduce some down up. That's alternate picking. So I'm just going not too far beyond the string and not too far the other way as well. Something like that is hard to do for me. So I'm going down, up, down, up. I'm going frets 7, 5 on the D and the A. That's the A, G, E, D notes. This is very much a timing thing and a coordination thing. So perhaps slow it down. I've got to go down, up, and that up has got to be a little extra up in order to then do the down on the A string. It's got to be a little bit more of a distance traveled there. Okay, so I'm working on my intricacy there. And Bobby Vega plays, you know, this kind of funky style where you're playing 16th notes and doing that. So there I'm working on my touch. I'm also working on improvising a bit. I haven't demoed a metronome or a drum loop. I very much would consider doing that in my practice sessions. I think you should too. But all of these 6 practice sessions for me invariably turn into longer. So you might just not really want to, you might not be feeling it today. You don't really want to practice. Pick up your bass anyway for 5 minutes, okay? Get through the 5 minutes and then you can stop. If you get into it and you enjoy it, you'll probably move on. I know there are people out there who can do 5-10 minutes and that's it. If that's you, just do that, but do it every day. I'm promising you, the neural connections in your brain will strengthen, your stamina will get better, your love of bass will get better. There's just no downsides to this. So as I said, check out that other practice video. You may also want to check this one out as well. This is really going to help you become better at bass. I also do have a course that is going to help you with all the beginning stuff and intermediate stuff as well in terms of improvising and how to use theory and things like that. If you've got any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.